Says we're live.
We shall see.
Are we actually
Oh,
live?
oh, we are.
Are we good?
We are good.
We're live?
Can you see me eating on YouTube?
Okay, there we
Says we're
go.
live.
We are live. Let's go. We figured it out. Alrighty, let me go back to the Zoom meeting. Let me know if it like disrupts or anything. Are we still good?
Yeah, I think we're all good. I've got this here and I've got the meeting open of the live on my phone.
Okay, sounds good. But okay, I have no way of seeing the chat though, so I have to go
Oh,
back. There we
I
go. Okay. I just it's still late on YouTube, so I saw you eating. Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to the Kayfabe Central podcast, and welcome to another episode of the Monday Night Raw post-show review, this time for December 29th, 2025. I'm your host, Josh, as always, and joining me for the first time, I believe, on the Raw post-show, Rue on Wrestling.
I'm never up this late. Hello.
I know it is pretty late for Rue, so we're gonna try and get this through this as quickly as possible so Rue can get to bed.
I feel good.
Yeah, we're gonna be going over Monday Night Raw. We're gonna be going over everything that went down as usual. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. If you are returning, welcome back. You know how this works. We're gonna be going over everything. It is delayed, so I just see you dancing, and it's like hilarious on YouTube Studio. Um, but yeah, so we're gonna be going over Monday Night Raw on December 29, 2025. We had a couple interesting things going on here. So yeah, we're gonna jump straight into it. Obviously you guys know the self promo, all that stuff. The Discord server is down below. Check that out. Check out the Kayfabe Central website where I post all my coverage posts, articles, written predictions, all that good stuff is up there on the Kayfabe Central YouTube channel. Yeah, go check all that stuff out. Um, yeah, let's get into Monday Night Raw. So the night kicked off with the Vision. The Vision came out for Monday Night Raw, and they officially introduced Austin Theory to the Vision. Pretty much just saying that, oh, Austin Theory is now part of the Vision, even though we already knew he was. So kind of pointless there, but whatever. I guess they needed to do that segment. That then led to Austin Theory interrupting and not Austin Theory, sorry, CM Punk interrupting. My mind's all over the place. CM Punk interrupted. And he told Braun Breaker, he's out there for him because next week they do have a World Heavyweight Championship match. And he asks Braun Breaker to tell the rest of the division to leave the ring so they can talk face to face. After, a couple minutes of just bantering, the division ultimately leave the ring, and Braun Breaker and CM Punk exchange a great war of words. And man, these segments have been really good. Braun Breaker is getting better on the mic each week. And CM Punk, we know what he does on the microphone. He's so good on the mic, and he just does a phenomenal job. And this made for an excellent segment, and like it gets you excited for a match like this. So I was a big fan of this segment. It gets a thumbs up from me. That's all I really have to say about it, though. Yeah, solid segment from Braun and Punk, and the Vision were just there.
Just in the background.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I totally get this was fantastic. The bit that I love the most, and we've seen this quite a lot recently, is seeing this younger talent match the opposing talent in the ring. We've seen it with Dominic Mysterio and John Cena. We've seen it with Obafemi and Cody Rhodes, and just seen it there with Braun and Punk. Like we know how good Rhodes, Cena, and Punk are on the mic. They are literally the three of the greatest of all time. I mean, there's no doubt there. And seeing the young guys not just be able to not stumble and fall over the words, but hold their own in the ring. I think especially Braun,
Yeah.
it's so encouraging to see. You just kind of have a bit of a more of a sense of relief to be like, right, they're going to be fine. Whereas when we had it, ironically, with Austin Theory, who is in the division, when we had that with him and Cena, it was like, ah, when that all happened. So seeing Braun do this, it was absolutely incredible. Braun's fantastic, Punk's fantastic. I'm very excited for the match next week.
Yeah, exactly. Like these type of segments get you excited for the match when you have two guys who can just go at it on the mic. It gets you excited. It gets you hype. So yeah, they did a phenomenal job. It was a very solid way to open Monday Night Raw. And like, if I'm nitpicking though, in typical Monday Night Raw fashion, I feel that this segment took too long. They took their sweet ass time doing this segment, and I feel like they could have gotten to the point much quicker. And I'm gonna bring that up with a couple other segments that we had later on in the show. But yeah, solid segment to open Monday Night Raw. Um, backstage, Jackie Redmond was with Raquel Rodriguez, and Liv Morgan entered the frame afterwards. And um, I missed some of this segment and what was exactly said, but from what I gathered, Liv Morgan was offering to help Raquel Rodriguez tonight, and Raquel was kind of just denying her and saying that, I don't really need your help. And Roxanne came in and kind of was like, oh, we got your back if you needed Raquel, it's okay. And Raquel was like, I don't need any help. So they're clearly playing into that. Liv and Roxanne are on the same page, but Raquel isn't. So I'm wondering where this is gonna go. Are we gonna get Raquel Rodriguez out of the Judgment Day? Somebody has to be booted out or leave the Judgment Day at some point. Right now it's looking like Raquel, but with the Judgment Day booking, I have no clue. What do you think about the segment? Did you have any thoughts?
Yeah, so I was with you. That's pretty much what I gathered from the segment itself. Was the, as you said, Liv offered her hand, Raquel didn't want it. It does seem like they're going that way. It seems like it's going to be Raquel that's going off on her own, which I don't know about you, but me personally, I thought, at the beginning of the year, I was like, I think it's going to be like Liv and Dom are going to go off and do their own thing, but it seems like they've maybe flipped that around and gone for Raquel, which, I hope 2026 is a great year for Raquel. I think a lot of people have came on to how good she is, and like we've been there, we've seen her on NXT. We know how good she can be. She's not really had that chance on the main roster to show it. So I hope for some big things, but it does seem like it is going to be Raquel going off on her own, and like I said, I hope the best for her when it does eventually happen. I hope she doesn't just get forgotten about. Well, say the track record over the last year hasn't been great, so slightly worried, but if we don't do it, I'll never know.
Yeah, absolutely. But we then went to the Women's World Championship triple threat match. Now, for some reason, I thought this was going to be later in the show, and for some reason, like a part of me thought this was going to end up being the main event. I'm glad it didn't end up being the main event. I'm glad the main event was the main event that they chose, and we'll get to that. But Stephanie Vaquer retains against Nikki Bella and Raquel Rodriguez, and you brought up in your live a opportunistic win for Stephanie Vaquer in this one because Raquel has Stephanie and Nikki up for a double Tahana bomb. Stephanie slips out of it. By the way, it looked like Nikki Bella was just going to eat that at the side of her head. And I'm like, oh my goodness, please change your positioning. We just had William Regal tweet out earlier today about
Mhm.
neck injuries. So let's not disappoint that guy. All right. But she positioned herself. Raquel hits a Tahana bomb on Nikki Bella. Stephanie throws Raquel out of the ring and pins Nikki Bella, which I'm assuming that this is going to lead to another Raquel and Stephanie match. Now, I don't have a problem with Stephanie Vaquer and Raquel Rodriguez. I like them both. I think they're both great wrestlers, and I wouldn't have a problem with another singles match between the two if we hadn't done it twice already. It gets to a point where you overdo something, and if you're not gonna if you do a third match between these two, and you still have Stephanie retain, what was the point? Because I'm a big supporter of Raquel, but man, I'm getting a feeling that this push is not gonna last long, or it's not gonna be as big as people are hoping it to be. Because as good as Raquel is, WWE has been really start-stop with Raquel Rodriguez. At one point, they're pushing her. They're like, okay, she's going to be the next big thing. And then the next, she's doing almost nothing or like in nothing rivalries or whatever the case may be. Um, I'm hoping that's not the case for her this time. But man, like it would make me happy if Raquel Rodriguez won that Women's World Championship, but I don't trust WWE in their booking with Raquel because of how start-stop they've been.
Yeah, absolutely. It was quite funny this match. I mean, you also seen like in my live, there was quite a lot of folk who like didn't think Stephanie was going to retain, and I thought it was a foregone conclusion that Stephanie was going to retain. Yeah. Look, as you said, I see this definitely going to another match between Stephanie and Raquel. I said it, you brought it up there. It was quite an opportunistic win by Stephanie. It's very bit unlike her. Um, I think if they do a third match, there's really only one outcome. Well, I mean, I suppose technically too, because you could just have Raquel win. I think there's only one way that Raquel can lose, which will hopefully mean it will be okay. And it's just what we talked about in the previous segment, and that is if she's cost by Liv, cost by Roxanne. Because I say if she just loses, we've done this 3 times now. I don't see it for going as well for Raquel. Whereas if this is where we start to build to the sort of her being ostracized from the Judgment Day, um, or maybe it was an accidental cost as well, maybe it wasn't on purpose, and then that's when the cracks start to form. I think we can build off of that. Whereas, as you said, if Raquel loses here again, which to be truly honest, if right now if they are to go say for the Rumble to do Raquel and Stephanie, I'm still taking Stephanie. I'm like right now, looking towards, and this is always what gets awkward this time of year, looking towards Mania. Do I see Raquel Rodriguez at the minute being one of the champions going into a championship match at Mania? No, I don't at all. Stephanie, I can see at least. Raquel, I don't. So I wouldn't put money on Raquel to win that belt at that point. But yeah, look, I hope, as I said it in the previous, I hope that Raquel it is going to be a good year for her. I hope they do have good booking for her. But I'm with you. I'm slightly concerned because I don't fully trust them.
Yeah, I think doing a like repeat of matches in itself is a bad idea, but if you want to make this better and if you actually want Raquel to be the one to take that title off Stephanie Vaquer, unless you have plans for Raquel and Liv for the Women's World title at WrestleMania
Mm.
potentially, um, I would have Raquel win the Royal Rumble and challenge Stephanie. Make it a story of where Stephanie's like, I've beat you many times already. Why do you deserve another title opportunity? And that would be a very reasonable point because there's no reason Raquel should get another title opportunity. This is a third chance she squandered. And so I think have Raquel win the Royal Rumble. If that's your plan to put it on her, then have her win. Um, do I think that's going to happen? Probably not. Um, as of right now, I can't really map out who Stephanie's going to face at WrestleMania or like who Jade Cargill is going to face at WrestleMania. I completely forgot who the women's champion was on SmackDown for a second.
So did WWE. It's fine.
It's funny. She's held that title for like 50 days and hasn't defended it once, by the way. Um,
Mm.
Yeah, that's bad. But yeah, in terms of the match quality of this was fine. Nikki Bella
Mm.
didn't look good. She had a lot of mishaps in this as usual, and you guys know how I feel about Nikki Bella. But yeah, this was fine. Raquel and Stephanie did their job, and they looked great in here. And again, if you want to push Raquel Rodriguez, do it properly and don't make it feel forced. But yeah, I'll give this a thumbs up.
Yeah, I think so as well. And again, to go back to not totally just going to call out my chat here. See the amount of folk who just like don't like Stephanie Vaquel blows my mind. Maybe it's just because they don't watch NXT or NFL. It blew my mind reading that. I was like, seriously, there were people in my chat wanting Nikki to win. I was
Yeah.
so taken aback by that. I really like that idea you just mentioned it about Raquel winning the Rumble. 'Cause that's something that hasn't even crossed my mind. I really don't know who I think is going to win the Women's Rumble. I've got two in mind. And one of them I think I want to say I'm pretty confident going into Mania, depending on her status. Is I think the Mania match you said for Jade, I think it is going to be Bianca. If Bianca is back and okay, because I know this whole finger of injury has not healed well at all. But do they give Bianca the Rumble win? Does she do the Elimination Chamber 2 years in a row? I don't know. My other option from the World Heavyweight Championship side, to be truly honest, I've always kind of I've been saying it to you for ages, has been Liv Morgan. But as you pointed out, maybe we aren't going to do the Liv Morgan story and we do Raquel now. have Raquel go on to Mania, defeat Stephanie Raquel, become World Heavyweight Champion, and then potentially we get the turn of live turn. That's when we get the Triple H of the Randy Orton from Evolution almost in that sense. That could. I actually quite like that idea you've brought up with Raquel. I wouldn't put my money on it to happen, but I like it.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't put my money on it either, not even 25 cents. But like, I think it's more likely that they're gonna go down the simple route. Bianca and Jade and Rhea and Stephanie at WrestleMania. That's more than likely the route that they're gonna go down. Rhea and Stephanie, I have no problem with. Bianca and Jade, I have no interest in anymore. That might be an unpopular opinion, but I really don't care. Jade has been subpar as a performer as a whole. And Bianca Belair, I love Bianca Belair. But that feud just doesn't interest me at all anymore.
As long as Jade, as long as sorry, I take that, but not that. As long as Bianca wins, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if Bianca wins, I guess that's not bad. Just give her a good title reign this time. Um, Gunther's interview was interrupted by R-Truth backstage. He continued to rub salt in the wound that he made John Cena tap out like a little bitch. And R-Truth had enough. He walked up to Gunther and said, "You know what? I'm gonna fight you tonight because I had enough of it. And you're a piece of shit." He said that to Gunther. Um, can I say that on live?
Yeah, yeah,
I don't
fine.
know. I think so. But he said you're a piece of shit. I said it again. Um, so that sets up a match later on in the night. I have nothing really else to say about the segment. It was just, a typical Monday Night Raw segment to set up a match later the night. Other than Gunther is great.
Gunfa is my goat. He made your favorite tapper like a little bitch. My goat.
Um, I was trying to think of a clever transition for this, but I couldn't. The Kabuki Warriors came out for a promo.
Oh,
Um, Not the greatest of promos. Look, I before you guys cancel me, all right? I get that they were speaking in Japanese, and I have nothing to say about that. But in terms um of what they were trying to portray in this promo, they just seemed like they were like poking fun at Rhea and Io like they were little kids.
mhm.
And this I put in Bruce chat, what in the Disney Channel is going on here? Because this seemed so, oh my goodness, it didn't even seem PG. It just seemed E for everyone. Like, what was going on here? Like, this was bad. And like, man, like the Kabuki Warriors, they usually they're very like corny and like kind of funny or whatever, and like that's their style of promo. But I think they took it a little too far tonight, and it just didn't turn out good. Thankfully, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky come out. They didn't say a word, did they?
Nope.
And they just came out. They fought with the Kabuki Warriors, and they were standing tall, setting up their match next week for the tag team championships on the first Monday Night Raw of the new year. But no, I didn't like this segment at all. It meant nothing to me, and I have a strange feeling that the Kabuki Warriors are just going to retain next week anyway. Um, I could be wrong. Rhea and Io could win that, and they defended against Alexa and Charlotte. Maybe that's something people want to see instead. But I don't know anymore. But this promo just was not good.
No, it wasn't at all. I think what's maybe quite a telling sign is here, because you brought it up there, and it's a perfect way to describe the Kabuki Warriors. Is sometimes it is very cringing over the top. And I know you've not been the biggest fan of it a lot of times, whereas like myself and like Stu, we quite enjoyed it. Even I didn't like this. I totally agreed with what you said. This was weird. And as you said, like with total respect to the segment. I'd like it when, particularly when they get fired up, and Asuka, I always think is great at it, where she gets fired up, does the promo, gets across what she needs to say, and once she starts getting heated, starts going off in Japanese. That I always love that. I always find that really, really cool. As you said in this promo, it felt very all over the place, and as you said, it was a bit more like so, I mean, I think I made the joke. It's felt like something that Vince would have written for them back in the day. Like to make fun. It didn't feel natural, or it didn't have the comedic timing that some other promos of this type of caliber would have, particularly from the Kabuki Warriors. Um, and again, Asuka's great, Kairi Sane's fantastic. I really didn't like this at the time. I was like, what? I didn't get any fun enjoyment out of it at all.
Yeah, no, not at all. But that was that segment. I really don't have anything else other than that to say about that segment. We went backstage with Rey Mysterio and CM Punk talking to each other. CM Punk was gonna tell Rey Mysterio that he has his back tonight, but Rey Mysterio said, "You have a championship match next week, man. Focus on that. I got it covered tonight. I got somebody covering me tonight." And CM Punk just says, "Okay." And that's the segment. Nothing really to talk about there. I don't think. Did you have any thoughts on that segment?
It was Rey Mysterio and CM Punk.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
all I'll say.
We went from that to Gunther absolutely obliterating R-Truth. So I'm gonna let Rue carry this one because I
Oh,
didn't really watch this match because I was setting up the live stream for tonight. And so I didn't see any of this match at all, to be honest. I was gonna say I didn't see much of it. I didn't see any of it. All I know, I heard a couple chops, I heard a couple big bumps, and then I heard the bell ring. So that's
yeah.
all I heard from this match.
So, oh no, it's actually quite funny that you haven't seen this. It might actually surprise you, my reaction to this. I love the setup to it. I love everything about Gunfall. I still love the outcome, and I still love both men. I didn't actually. I'm not going to say go as far to say I didn't like. I wasn't the biggest fan of the route the match took because for me, R-Truth got in far too much offense in this match.
Really?
He got in far too much offense on Gunther. He got Gunther in a sleeper hold at one point, which for me, I was saying in my live, I was joking around that I wanted Gunther to Jimmy Uso R-Truth. I understand the man's like in his 50s, but this is the level that Gunther should be at. And again, it did what it needed to do. It was perfect. Gunther still came out looking like a killer. He did the whole elbow smash thing into R-Truth and just wore him down. But Truth got in far too much offense for me. He did the five moves of doom, all that stuff to Gunther, and I understand they're trying to carry on Cena's legacy for R-Truth and all that. For me, Gunther should have went out there and murdered R-Truth. I love R-Truth, and I don't want him to actually get hot. But for what we've seen, I think Gunther just obliterated him. So again, overall, I thought it was a very fun, very good segment, great setup. Just the match, I think for me, Truth got in a little bit too much offense when he really shouldn't have.
See, with me, I kind of like that, especially when
Okay.
it's somebody like R-Truth. And like you don't want to completely like squash R-Truth is I guess.
Mm.
I get that it's Gunther and he probably should have, but I kind of like when you have such a beloved baby face in a squash match like this, and that's what it was, guys. Let's not sugarcoat anything. It was still a squash match, but I love when you have a beloved baby face in a squash match like this, and they get some offense in, it gets the crowd riled up, and that puts over the heel more when they just put down the baby face like it was nothing, like their offense meant nothing. I think that almost no selling the babyface's offense is just as bad as like a power bomb and that's the match. Because it would be like this guy didn't affect me at all. So I do kind of like a little bit of offense in these kind of matches, especially when it's somebody like R-Truth, because I never want to see R-Truth go out that sad. Like I know he's never gonna be in like a pivotal role again. He's just gonna be a guy who's in these type of matches, but um he still can go in the ring, and I like to see him show that off a little bit sometimes.
To be fair, that's a very good point, and hey, isn't it amazing being able to have a conversation of wrestling and go, oh wow, you know what, you actually made a very good point there. I just my bias of how much I love Gunfor. But you are correct actually. I suppose when it's someone like Arthur, if it isn't just like it's who's a babyface no one cares about. Oh well. As you said, with it be supposed to be an R-Truth, I guess that does make sense because you're right. What you described there, as you said, for someone who didn't really watch the match, is someone like R-Truth being able to do the moves and get the crowd on his side. He did. the crowd were cheering for R-Truth. They were happy to see him. So you've actually made a very good point there, and you're completely right with how they reacted. So you know what? I will actually say I actually understand that totally.
Uh, Absolutely. Um, Backstage, Jey Uso was sitting down and pouting like a little child. Um, in ahead of his World Tag Team Championship match. He's not hyping himself up. He's just sitting there pouting and is like, man, nothing's been going right for me recently. Like I feel like that's a little bit of an insult to his brother. Like nothing's been going right, and you're tag teaming with your brother tonight to fight for the World Tag Team titles. I mean, like, can we throw a little bit of logic onto these segments? But I is whatever. Like they were trying to do it seemed like they were trying to do the friction thing between the Usos again, but then we come to find out later tonight that just didn't mean anything. But Jimmy Uso just hypes him up and says, you know, we're good. We're the Usos. We're the greatest tag team of all time. A little bit of a spoiler alert. I think they solidified that tonight. But
Ooh.
um, yeah, I think that this was just a useless segment.
I mean, I have one question for you. Do you feel him, sir?
Oh my
Do
God.
you feel him? Became a meme in my chat.
Oh.
I loved it. I've said I need to go get a soundbite now. Oh, I never mentioned as well during the Gunther segment, by the way. Guess whose amazing girlfriend copped him a pre-order sale of the Gunther just tapped out John Cena like a little bitch t-shirt.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I kind of want that shirt too.
Wait,
That
I
shirt
had
is
to.
diabolical.
It's
Gunther
awful.
is just so damn good. I forgot to
Oh yeah.
mention, he got up on the announce table, he grabbed the microphone, he said it again. I made John Cena tap out like a little bitch.
And I'm
Um,
gonna wear that t-shirt in every live stream and make everyone upset, and I love it.
Oh man. By the way, speaking of Gunther, like I feel like he's getting a lot more respect in the arenas now.
Hmm.
Like a
Hmm.
lot of people are being like, okay, we kind of just love to hate this guy now because he's just so damn good at what he does. Um, it's crazy because you look at like Walter from NXT UK years ago. I never would have thought Walter would be in this position. I always thought he could be a world champion on the
Yeah.
main roster, but to this level, I'm like, oh man. Like
Hmm.
I never would have pictured it. Yeah, Gunther's great.
Oh, what a guy. But yeah, no, go back to the Uso one. Yeah, no, like as you said, like it was a wee bit weird, especially as you said, like we know what happens later on in the night to see the segment. Hindsight's an amazing thing. But well, it is what it is. We move on and we move forward and we can chat about that later on.
Yeah. Um, we had another, in my opinion, useless segment backstage with the Vision. They were pretty much just saying, "Yeah, we got each other's backs." And, you know, Braun and Bronson told Theory they got his back. Theory told them the same thing. Logan Paul, being his extremely humble self, apparently, said he's got his back. And Theory said the same thing. And then Paul Heyman sent Logan Paul out to the ring with Austin Theory. And that was the segment. So that again, this meant nothing to me. I didn't really care for this segment. Like the Vision segments backstage, just like they haven't really meant a whole lot. Like yeah, I can do without them, to be honest, and just have them do the in-ring segments.
The issue is they don't have either a treehouse or a clubhouse. That's what they need.
Exactly. They need a Vision treehouse.
Just Paul Heyman just getting baked off his face with Braun. Braun just barking
Oh
like a
man.
woof woof.
So throughout the night, I thought this match was gonna end up being the main event, but thank God it wasn't, because Rey Mysterio did technically defeat Austin Theory, but it was by disqualification. Um, because of Logan Paul attacking and interfering, he attacked Rey Mysterio. Logan, in theory, tried to make the jump on Rey Mysterio, but we got a returning Penta. Came out and fought Austin Theory and Logan Paul off. So Penta is back. He's not injured anymore. He is cleared and he's being thrown into the Vision storyline. I'm curious as to where all this is gonna go. To be honest, are we gonna get Logan and Theory as a tag team potentially? You know, are we gonna get like Logan and Theory versus the Usos for the tag team titles at some point? Because I can't really see them doing anything else with those two, like going into WrestleMania, because I I'm still not trusting that Austin Theory is in safe hands with this vision because I don't think it's gonna end up turning out that well, to be honest. I'm still not feeling it a whole lot. I like Austin Theory and I want to like this. I want to like that he's in a bigger role, but something about this just doesn't feel right and it's kind of bland at the moment, and I'm hoping they pick it up a little bit. But as of right now, my suspicions are correct, and it's not working. I know it's really early, so I'm not gonna be like quick to judge, and I'm not gonna completely say I don't like it yet. But I don't think it's off to a good start.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I've said the exact same. The fact that I'm a bit worried, a bit concerned about where they're going to go with Theory, particularly afterwards. I mean, you brought up a really funny but also very valid and good point. Like when they were all in the ring, like Austin Theory just looked like a naughty child who'd been in trouble at school. Just stood there in his jacket. It was too big for him. Like it was a bit awkward. In the terms of obviously Penta come back, it was cool to see Penta. I'd literally got the question earlier on asking when do we think we'll see him back. I said potentially next Monday, if not Royal Rumble. He's back already, and the thing that absolutely sucks is obviously it's glad that his injury wasn't a serious one. He's managed to recover from it in quite a quick time. It just sucks that injury that's only lasted about a month just happened to fall over the top of the reunited, the reunited Lucha Bros,
Yeah.
the AAA. So it sucks. Where this goes, I mean, I kind of said it there. I potentially still, hopefully, see them going down the road with the Lucha Bros in WWE. Braun, Theory, and Logan versus Ray and the Lucha Bros. Maybe at some point, who knows? Especially with the Usos now. Oh my god! Ignore what I just said. Particularly with where the Raw Tag Team division is going. Um, Getting the Lucha Bros into the fold, I think, would be a lot of fun. So I hope so. I'm glad to see Penta back. Obviously fully recovered. Well, hopefully fully recovered anyway. But I would like to see him get with Ray, Phoenix, not Mysterio.
Yeah, now we see why they changed people's names, right?
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, that was that. It's cool to see Penta back. I'm not opposed to the Lucha Bros idea. I think we should see them, very soon in the WWE because they're not doing anything with Ray Phoenix anyway over on SmackDown. So bring him up, get him in a more pivotal role because he could definitely handle himself. Ray Phoenix is fantastic. We had a vignette with a Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. They pretty much just issued a warning to the Kabuki Warriors for next week. There wasn't anything really special that stood out to me with this vignette. I don't know if you caught it or if anything stood out to you in this vignette, but I didn't get anything. It was just a typical vignette.
Yeah, there wasn't much. As you said, it was really standard stuff you'd see hyping up the match for next week to see where it goes, pretty much.
Yeah. Something that wasn't useless though, Maxine Dupree comes out for a promo. At first she does the typical thing like, I'm champion because of the WWE Universe. I'm just like, shut up. Because man, I'm so sick and tired of these promos. Like, even with the guys coming into the WWE, oh, I loved this as a kid. I'm so happy to be here. Shut up. So, but it turned out to be a good segment when Becky Lynch interrupted and they went back and forth. They are running it back next week on the January 5th episode of Raw for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. I don't think there's a stipulation added to that or anything. It's just a regular match. But they have a very good back and forth here. Maxine Dupree, we talked about Braun Breaker getting better on the mic every single week. We got to add Maxine Dupree to that conversation because she is getting much better. You can tell she's getting a lot more confident as well. Her in-ring stuff is getting a lot better also. And you could tell that her training with Natty is not just a kayfabe thing. She is. I have a feeling she's really in there with
Oh yeah.
Natty and training with her, and Natty's prepping her to be the best she can be. So yeah, we got that next week. It's going to be curious because I was confident that Maxine Dupree is going to retain. I'm still somewhat confident until you said maybe Natty shows up. Now, what does Natty do if she shows up? Does she turn on Maxine or does she help Maxine defeat Becky Lynch? Now, if Natty turns up and this is babyface Natty, it's not in the babyface nature to help somebody win a match. So if she shows up, I'm thinking that she turns on Maxine and we get heel Natty. Or it could just be a case of Becky Lynch tries to cheat, but Natty comes out to stop her. I have no clue. Or maybe this is just a regular match and Maxine Dupree retains. Um, I don't know, and I don't know if I have interest in Becky Lynch holding the title again. I feel like we got to get something new for Becky Lynch because now if Becky Lynch wins it, it feels like we're just playing hot potato with the title, and which is never a good thing. But still a solid segment from these two.
Yeah, I mean, so much to unpack there. First, as you said, like Maxine Brie has been absolutely insane. I think you can really tell, and I think the fans can as well. You know when someone gives a shit. You've already said the word, so I'll say it. You can, we know when someone cares about the business and wants to learn and get better. Because we've seen it, and it's harsh. It's particularly in the women's division. We've seen it with a lot of, particularly in the when it was kind of the coming out of the Divas era. A lot of folk just wanted to use it to boost their Instagram following. Maxine Dupree looks like she actually cares and she really loves this and wants to get better, and she has, and she's now reaping the rewards of it because she's absolutely fantastic. And what you said as well about Becky, I think it's totally true. I don't see Becky Lynch getting this IC title back because I think Becky's done her job. She brought Lyra up to such a great point. Now where Lyra was getting the respect, and then obviously Becky taking the title from her, and then also on a flip side, on Becky of losing the title, she's brought Maxine up to a whole level I don't think anyone saw Maxine Dupree ever getting to. So I think Becky's absolutely done her job here. I don't think there's anything else left for her to do. In terms of the match, I also, as I mentioned on live, thinking that maybe Natalia gets involved, or Natty, hopefully. The reason, and then I did also think about this. If you look at it from a kayfabe point of view, even though Maxine is the champion, and if she beats Becky, she'll have beaten her 4 times. If I was Natty in kayfabe terms, I would still rather go up against Maxine than I would Becky, and think, particularly if you're the one that's been training Maxine, to think that I have a shot at being able to defeat Maxine. So maybe, as you said, Becky tries to cheat, Natty comes out, stops her, helps Maxine retain. For babyface means then after it turns on Maxine, because again, if I'm Natty, I'm like, I have a better chance at beating Maxine here and becoming an IC champ than I do beating Becky.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so yeah, I think this feud has been solid recently. I think they've been doing a very solid job. Like it's not the worst thing going on Monday Night Raw. Um, so yeah, thumbs up from me. We had Trick Williams backstage talking to Adam Pearce this time. He was talking to Nick Aldis on Friday. And he's, trying to see where he wants to go, which brand he wants to go. I still think it's going to end up being SmackDown. That's where Carmelo Hayes is, and I feel like there's more things you can do with Trick Williams over on SmackDown. Um, but he appeared on Raw. He was talking to Adam Pearce. He ultimately just left the locker room after talking and giving Adam Pearce his card. Bailey and Lyra Valkyria walk in. Lyra looked great tonight, by the way. Great outfit she had on. But from what I gathered from this, they were asking for a tag team title opportunity. And I didn't really catch what Adam Pearce told them, but Bailey was yelling at Adam Pearce and calling him names, calling him bald, and all that stuff. Lyra was trying to calm her down. And it was just like this segment was just all over the place. I had no idea what was going on, especially because I was paying attention to some other things. I think there were some people talking to me in your live chat as well, so I was looking at that, and I was like, "What is going on here?" Bailey's just screaming at Adam Pearce for no reason. I'm calling him a stupid idiot and calling him bald. This was all over the place, and I have no idea where they want to go with Lyra and Bailey now.
Yeah, it was a bit of a mental segment. Also, Bailey calling Adam Pearce a stupid idiot. Chris Jericho returned confirmed. Just saying. Yeah. It was. I mean, you got to feel for Adam Pearce here. Man, is just having a night of it, getting called bald and everything. I imagine I've said this multiple times. I've done videos on it. I asked it in the live. I'm kind of with you for next week in thinking that the Kabuki Warriors might potentially retain the tag team titles, and it's going to lead to a big kind of schmoz fest at the end. Loads of teams coming out. It says you also have Rhea and Io already in there. I imagine Charlotte and Alexa, maybe Bailey and Lyra, maybe Nia and Lash, potentially Liv and Roxanne. And maybe this is where we look ahead to setting up this women's TLC or some kind of stipulation match with all of these tag teams gunning for that tag team title. Um, Might get set up here. Maybe it doesn't happen at all. I don't know, but there's a lot of different factors. It's similar to how we had on SmackDown when we had the SmackDown Tag Team TLC match where all these different teams were gunning from different angles and all bringing up different points. And this is kind of like right now because as you said, we've got the main one which is Kabuki and Rio, and then you've got Charlotte and Alexa being like, "We are coming for it," and you've got Bailey and Lyra saying, "We're coming for it." It could go. I'm like you. I'm in limbo, so I'm trying to think of any way that makes sense of this. So we'll just see.
Yeah. Um, but I'm like I like Bailey and Lyra. They're fine. Like I just hope like we can get some direction. But like you said, it's probably just
Mm.
gonna end up being all the women's tag teams. I wouldn't mind. I know there's been like fantasy bookings being thrown around about a women's TLC. I wouldn't mind that at all. You brought up Chris Jericho, by the way. Speaking of Chris Jericho, I reported today actually. Today, I mentioned in my weekly wrestling recap that Chris Jericho's AEW contract expires on December 31st, my birthday, by the way,
Hmm.
at midnight, and he can appear on WWE programming as soon as next week on Monday Night Raw. That's what sources are telling everybody. That's what people are believing. I am going to take that with a grain of salt, but that we've seen Ricky Saints just 48 hours I think it was
It was, yeah.
after being removed from AEW's roster appearing, so it's very well likely. I'm thinking of the January 5th Raw next week, and I'm not fully seeing where Chris Jericho will return um unless it's a Johnny Gargano return where he would come back from commercial break and his music just hits. Like, oh, what the fuck? But yeah, that is some, little news on Chris Jericho. We've talked about that a little bit before, many times on previous podcasts. But that took us to the main event of the evening, the World Tag Team Championship match. The Usos versus AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. Rue has been yeeting all night.
This isn't even to eat actually. It was to say something because unfortunately for international audiences, unlike Josh, they didn't get to see Finn Balor cut the promo of his life.
Right.
Eh,
Yeah. So, did you want to walk us through that promo? Because I,
yeah, I cannot believe that this was on a commercial break. If anyone hasn't seen it, or like Josh didn't get to see it, obviously we got to see it here in the UK. Finn Balor went out there and cut the absolute promo of his life that everyone in the arena was cheering for him, and it sounded like NXT Finn Balor again. And it made me and everyone go, "Yeah, I want Finn Balor as a goddamn world champion because he's so good." He basically came out in a suit that he didn't look like Judgment Day. Finn Balor came out in a suit and was talking about the fact that obviously JD McDonald's currently injured. I guess something that we maybe forgot to mention was the fact that obviously it has been announced that Dominic Mysterio is now injured and is out indefinitely, which sucks, by the
wow.
way. Absolutely sucks. So where does Finn go? And he basically cut and he was talking about the fact that also Raw tonight was in Orlando, had him thinking about his time in NXT, and it was very much a Balor Club esque promo. He still put the wee touch on the Judgment Day, saying that he's going to go out there and he's going to put the Judgment Day on his back, and he's going to do everything for the Judgment Day to bring gold back. But that honestly, if no one's watched, go and watch this promo. It is the promo of Finn Balor's life, and it was on a goddamn commercial break that some folk didn't even get to see.
Yeah, it might have like shown, but like I think that's during the time I was like setting up the live and still, and I was trying to figure a whole bunch of things out. So I might have just missed it like completely and they showed it. But I know like a couple times tonight we still got commercials here in Canada during the matches as well, and you didn't. So it could
Mhm.
have been one of those scenarios as well. Um, which is stupid and weird in my opinion. Like
Yeah.
why? But anyway, back to the main event. for the World Tag Team Championships. The Usos defeat AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. There's the yeeting from Brew. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee lose the Tag Team Championships. What a great match this was.
Oh
This
yeah.
was a fantastic match. This was classic Usos. An Usos team that was acting very heelish throughout this match. Cheap shots behind the ref's back, particularly Jay as well. The last 5 minutes of this match was ridiculous. Like Jimmy Uso hit a wicked super kick on Dragon Lee that just turned him inside out. We had a double super kick midair on AJ Styles. There was a lot of chaos to end this match, and the Usos beat AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. There was a feeling in the air that the Usos were gonna win the titles here tonight. I think we all had that feeling that the titles were gonna change hands here, and it made sense. They're the Usos. And like Jey Uso still had some mishaps in this match, but it was covered up by how good the rest of this match was and how good everybody else was in this match. I'm not saying Jey Uso was terrible in this match. He did his part as well. Um, but I'm just saying there was still a couple things like the spear. He needs to stop doing the spear,
Oh yeah.
please. That was god awful. But the rest of this match was amazing, and like I love this, and like I want to say this is a very, very, very late addition to match of the year for me. So yeah, kudos to them. All four of these guys put on a show, and the Usos are tag team champions.
Mate, what I was so happy. Like this is the thing. Like I get clowned on a lot for saying the Usos are my favorite tag team of all time, but there's a reason behind it, and you just, as you said, they go out, and I think without making you sound like Michael Cole, because you said a very Michael Cole line there, but it was perfect. You went, "This was classic Usos," and it was. It's exactly what it was. It is the formula of an Uso match, and it was so nice to see again. And I think, and you brought up in my life, and I totally agreed. The fact it was quite heelish, and this is it. And I'll start about as much as this was a fun, and I love to cheer them. I fell in love with them being the Usos, being the Uso Penitentiary Usos from 2016, when the evil, horrible. Like people probably forget, like the legendary feud with the New Day. They were the heels in that feud.
Yep.
So I'm all for it. This was absolutely amazing. This a shout as well to AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. I think they've done from probably one of the most dead divisions in the WWE in the Raw Tag Team division. They've completely done amazing work, and now it's on the Usos, and that's what I was slightly gave away and was talking about earlier. Now potentially if we do bring in the likes of the Lucha Bros, if they want to come in, the Raw Tag Team division is looking stacked at the minute. So I'm happy and excited to see what that is going forward. Yeah, this was just absolutely amazing. It was so good to see the Usos back. The Usos are champions once again. I'm so happy. Get it in my book. 'Cause I think a lot of people do, and I don't blame them for it. But when you say the Usos are, one of your favorite teams, or in my case, saying they are my favorite team, people get so hung up on Jimmy and Jay. I'm like, no, 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 it's no Jimmy and Jay. Forget Jimmy and Jay. It's the Usos. And I know that is hard to get past, especially for new fans who only know Jay Uso. They don't know the Usos. I understand it's hard for them. But believe me when I say they are one of the greatest tag teams of all time for a reason. This match tonight just proved it, and they'll continue to do amazing work. I'm so excited to see going forward.
Oh man, this was 2022, 23
Oh
Usos
yeah.
right here. Like this is what I've wanted for the
Mhm.
past 2 years from WWE is take Jey Uso out of the singles division because he's not holding his own and he hasn't been good. This was the perfect turnaround for Jey Uso. As long as WWE doesn't pull anything and ends up like splitting them or something like that, we're good, right? We're good, and the Usos are good. This is where Jey Uso is gonna thrive. This is how you keep fans behind him, and I think this was perfect. Going back to what I said earlier, and I've said this on a podcast with you and Stu before. I can't remember if this was the Hot Takes podcast or just it was a random one. I mentioned the Usos and the New Day at the top of my greatest of all time tag teams. I'm putting the Usos at number one. I don't like Jey Uso as a singles competitor. I'm going to say that.
Yeah.
That was very hard for me to like put them at number one with the thought of Jey Uso being a singles competitor. But as a dynamic duo, as the Usos, they are the greatest tag team of all time. And that just might be my age And some people might tell me the Hardys, some people might tell me the Dudleys, some people might tell me Edge and Christian, and that's fine. That's perfectly reasonable arguments. And like I'm not going to disagree with you, but based on how I grew up with the Usos. I watched them debut in the WWE and I saw them grow progressively. And I honestly think when the Usos are, in their bag, they are the greatest tag team of all time, right next to the New Day when they're at their peak. But right now, like I think the Usos just proved tonight why they are the greatest tag team of all time.
I was like you said, you're not going to get any complaint from me, but I'm with you, and I'm maybe as someone who is, unfortunately, as we talked about my life, slightly older. I grew up watching the Hardys and all that. For the longest time, I always had the Hardys as my favorite, and it wasn't until I said proper getting back into wrestling. Like I didn't stop watching wrestling. I always say I say I had a break between 2011 and 2016. I was still watching, just not as religiously, because it was a rough period at that point. Um, but coming back into it properly and as an adult, especially, and being able to understand the psychology that goes into wrestling and telling a story, I just absolutely fell in love with the Usos. Don't get me wrong, Hardys can do it as well, and I love seeing Jeff jump off of some stupid things. Don't get me wrong, I still get that nostalgia pop. But for me, the complete package, as you said, is the Usos. They just are. And it's my top three. It's the Usos, it's the Hardys, it's Dudley Boys. Top five going Chuck the New Day and probably Edge and Christian and then potentially as well. Um, these teams they get it, and the Usos actually when they're on their day. There's nothing like it, and maybe it is that whole twin energy that they've got on that they just get it and they can just put on just some of my absolute favorite matches, some of my absolute favorite feuds. Like you say, you go back to like 2017 as well, WWE, when it was pretty tragic, and they were getting chucked on the pre-show. But the Usos and the New Day were sitting putting on match of the year contenders on the pre-show of like the 2017 Money in the Bank. So
Yeah.
whatever it was, like it's crazy. These guys, I cannot sing their praise enough. I think that's why I was so lenient on Jay. I didn't at the beginning quite like the hate that Jay was getting because I'm like, oh man, it's Jay Uso. Like, whoa, come on. But I'm
Yeah.
with you. At the point in the year we're in right now, I am not a fan of Jay Uso, but I fucking love the Usos, and I'm so happy to see them back. And I say I don't look at it as in, oh, that's Jimmy, that's Jay. Oh, that's boring. No, this is the Usos for me. I absolutely love it. I'm so happy they're tag team champions. They're the greatest of all time in my eyes. Um, I just can't wait to see what they do next.
Yeah, and like I don't want anybody coming like into my DMs or anything like that, calling me a hypocrite or anything because of how I hate on Jey Uso. It's the dynamic duo of
Hmm.
the Usos that I like because even in this match, like I mentioned, like Jey Uso had glimpses of like not being able to hold his own a little bit, like the power bomb from Dragon Lee. Like if anybody who knows in-ring wrestling psychology, Jey Uso not getting up on that was on Jey Uso. Like you need to get up for that power bomb. Like Dragon Lee struggled to pick him up a little bit there. So like things like that and like the spears and that good, but everything else was good about this match. And Jey Uso just looks much more comfortable when he's with his brother in a tag team. And I think hopefully WWE has realized that and that's why they put the tag titles on them. I don't think that this is a like Dean Ambrose Seth Rollins situation where they put the tag titles on them and like Dean turns on Seth immediately. I don't think that's what we're having here. It's a very good possibility the Usos just walk into WrestleMania as tag champs as well. So yeah, this was great. This gets a thumbs up from me. I think this, like, I don't want to say saved the episode because I think that we had some solid things on this. There was just a lot of things I could have done without. And like, man, I wish we had more matches on these Monday Night Raws and SmackDowns, man, because these are just very promo and segment heavy. And I think that needs to change. I think we need to get more matches, more people wrestling because the only way you get better in the ring is by wrestling in the ring. So get some people that need some shine or whatever, like get them in the ring, get more people in the ring. But yeah, it's really good main event here and really good way to top off Monday Night Raw and 2025.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the thing. I think at the minute, with the state that, at least this year, or at least definitely the last couple of months, the state of the where Raw and SmackDown have been, as you said, I think they are on the up, I would say. There's a lot of filler still in there, and I do totally agree with. There's a lot of improvements still needed. I think you said get more wrestling on my wrestling show, please. We talked about it all the time, with like AEW, their pre-shows are an hour long, 0 hour, and they can fit four blooded matches on that card, and
Yeah.
still get the promo segments in between. So I totally agree. There's still a lot of improvement needed, but I think we're going in the right direction. I'm really confident. I think there's a lot of negativity within the wrestling sphere, particularly in IWC. Not that totally never, I haven't noticed that this year at all. Um, within
They're the
WWE.
best analysts.
Oh yeah, definitely. But there's been a lot of negativity, so I'm going to try to be optimistic here. I think I'm optimistic for 2026. It looks like we're going in the right direction. Watch me be sat here on a year, and it's the worst years we've ever had. But the likes of Obafemi, Trick Williams, Joe Hendry, Kamala Hayes is going his push. Potential of Ricky Saints, Javon Evans again, who we've seen. Leon Slater. It looks like they are bringing an emphasis on these new guys coming through, which a lot of us have been clamoring for. Hopefully, they get the booking right. It could be a really solid year going forward.
Absolutely. But that was Monday Night Raw for December 29th, 2025, the last Monday Night Raw of 2025. We have NXT tomorrow, which will be the last WWE show of 2025. So I will not be doing a post show for that. I just do the TikTok shorts thing for NXT. But I will be doing coverage for NXT tomorrow because I think it's live tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I can't fully remember. I'll check and I'll figure it out. And if it's not, and if it's taped, I will be posting the spoilers. So make sure you guys keep it. Whoa, hello. Keep an eye out for the Kayfabe Central website and the coverage post for NXT tomorrow night. As always, I want to hear you guys' thoughts. So leave them down in the comments. If you're in the live chat, you can leave your thoughts in the chat really quick before we wrap it up because we are on the final stretch of this live. We are going to wrap it up. But before we do, Rue, where can they find you?
Yeah, if I were on Wrestling Find Me here on YouTube or over on TikTok, primarily on TikTok, is where I do all my videos. And as just pointed out, I do my live streams over there. Started with live streaming Raw and SmackDown. I might do NXT. I said that last week and then got too tired, so I might do it tomorrow if I feel okay. But we'll see how it goes. But you can find me over there, Raw Wrestling.
Sweet. So yeah, that is going to wrap up the Monday Night Raw post show review. Rue needs to get to bed because I know how late it is over there. So I thank Rue for joining me on this post show because it gets lonely sometimes over here. 11:30 at night. I know it's much later over there, but it gets lonely on these post shows sometimes. So I appreciate you joining me on this post
No.
show. But yeah, that is going to do it for this. I will be back for I have no clue. I will be back at some point because I'm not doing a Dynamite post show on my birthday. So I will see you guys on the next one, whenever it is. And until